So you've been thinking about building a custom home and you feel your anxiety level building because you've heard horror stories about prices spiraling out of control, costs rising during a project. So today we're going to talk about 7 ways that you should consider controlling your budget during a custom home build so we can eliminate that anxiety that you've heard about. Hello, I'm Andrew Genatasio. Welcome to GTG Builders YouTube channel. We hope that you find this information useful and you give us a follow. Leave a comment if something here strikes you. So let's talk real quick about 7 things you can think about when building a custom home to maintain a really solid budget and eliminate anxiety. So first is budget. You cannot go through a custom home build and expect to end up where you want to on budget if you don't start with a good budget. So what I would recommend is that you search for a home builder who is very experienced at starting with accurate budget. So we'll talk about budget real quick. The first time I talked to somebody, the second time I talked to somebody, we're talking budget. What does it cost for a 2,000 square foot home or a 3,000 square foot home or a 5,000 square foot home? What are the costs? We are, as we go down, we meet more, we do work together, we're starting to tighten that budget up until when we sign a construction contract, we have an exact dollar amount to build that home. So that's our budget. So from day one, we want our clients to understand basically what it's going to cost. You need to find someone who has that experience and who is willing to put the work in the beginning to develop some ideas of cost. So you can't end up with a good solid budget, go through your project if you don't start with a good budget. The next is plan for changes or plan for changes, meaning that make a decision. Are you going to start your project with the idea that you don't want any financial changes during the project? And I'm talking about change orders that clients ask for. And they're great. We don't mind a bit. You know, we give our clients, most of our clients, a guaranteed cost in the beginning, and they're free to make changes. They can change their flooring and their siding and their windows and their paint colors, and every other detail of a home can be changed. Are you that type of client that would like the freedom to make all the changes they want? Or do you want to do the work up front? Make your selections, choose your flooring, including your tile, your colors, your grouts, and then during the project, try not to have any financial changes. Those are 2 different clients. The ones that enjoy making changes during the project, be damned that it changes the budget, or the type of client that wants to make all the selections up front, agree upon a cost for certain aspects of the home, for example, tile budget material, and stick to that budget. Those are 2 different types of clients. You could be either, and we're happy to work with both. Next is transparency. We don't really have any secrets when it comes to costs when you build a custom home. Some clients come to us and they want to know, what does the electrician cost, and what does a foot of wire cost, and how much does plumbing cost, and what is the cider charging? That's not what I mean by transparency, because those things are silly. You would have to compare it to 10 other different contractors, understand their skill levels, understand material difference. That's what we do. However, when it comes to change orders, we are very transparent. We tell our clients why it costs to go from tile laid straight to tile made in Italy laid on a diagonal. The labor costs change, the material costs change, the preps change, and almost everything to do with that installation is different than where we started. So we are transparent. We show our costs. We have no problem with explaining why things are different. And that helps with a client being able to make a decision. Is it worthwhile doing this? Because I can understand why it costs more or even less when I make a decision and it changes materials or labor costs. Next is understanding financing. We like our clients to be, for our clients that are borrowing, taking out a construction loan, we like them to understand the financing. Some of our wealthiest clients borrow money to build a home because their money is invested someplace. Their money is tied up someplace. Whether you finance or not finance doesn't really mean that you're wealthy or not wealthy. There's a ton of reasons that people choose to finance the construction of their home. When you do take out money from a bank, you need to understand, what does a change order do to my financing? So some clients work out with the bank ahead of time that they want to put X amount aside for change orders with the bank. So they borrow a little extra, or they have a line of credit. And some clients say, I'm borrowing from my bank, and any change orders that happen from day one on are going to come out of my pocket, and I have X amount of money set aside. So understand your financing. We recommend you talk and have a relationship with your lender. We have several good lenders that we like, depending on what your project is, and we're happy to share those with you. And you should use them as tools to understand how borrowing will work. Then there is some common pitfalls. Common pitfalls are the costs that we see clients change time and time again. A couple of them are tile. Thinking in the beginning that, let's say, for example, $10,000 is enough, but you haven't really done your homework. You go into a tile shop when our designer starts working with you on tile selections, and you pick a tile for that bathroom for the guests, and it's $30, $50 a square foot, blows your entire budget. Tile is a common pitfall. Another is electric. We usually work with our clients prior to construction. We set the number of hi-hats. We set the number of switches and outlets. We do our best. When you get to a home and you actually walk through it, many of our clients, the light goes off and says, I need some extra switches and outlets here for my computer in my office and my entertainment system. I want extra hi-hats here. I'm going to decide to go with smaller hi-hats. I need a few more of them. And now I'm going to put a couple of hi-hats in every closet. So recessed lighting is a big one, but all of the electric, take your time, spend some time planning, and avoid changes that are bound to come down the road. At very least, minimize those changes. So those are a couple of common pitfalls. Next, number 6 is understand different changes. So when we talk about changes that affect the budget, we're talking about what results in a change order. That means something, we've got a contract to build, and you're changing an aspect of that build, whether it be a material or a labor. And so it's important to understand the difference between a want and a need. If you've got a budget goal and you're right there on budget, and you decide, because you talk to a friend, you want to look into different flooring options besides red oak, or you want to take your flooring from 5.5 inches wide to 11 inches wide. Is that a need or a want? Is that something that will affect your enjoyment of your home? Or is it just something that kind of you're interested in right this moment? So we're happy to make those changes, but it's good for you to soul search and understand what's the difference between a want and a need. And then the other different type of change is a now or never. When we install that 5.5 inch oak, it's real difficult to come back in 5 years and install 11 inch oak. So it's either now or never. On the other side of that is a big back patio. We recommend to clients that you wait a little while before you do hardscaping, or we have to prep for it. But a patio, we could install a modest patio in the beginning, and a year or two later, you could expand it. And when it's not financing that comes along with construction, obviously windows and siding, room layouts, all these things are difficult to change later. However, it's not that hard to add trim details later if you don't want that to affect budget. Closet organizers, we do some very nice custom closet organizers. But if you want something that's top notch, we can install some basic custom organizers, and you can always upgrade those later when finances make sense. Or you can live with what we've said in the contract and decide to do it later. So understand the difference between something that is either you have to do it now or you'll never do it because it's too hard to do later, or understand the difference between something that's just as easy to do later as it would now. And then lastly, understand the difference. Understand the value of labor and material. As professional builders, one of the things that we provide to our clients that clients can't do for themselves because they don't have the daily experience is matching good labor with good materials. You don't want to buy really expensive materials and then find the cheapest guy on the block to install it. You also don't want to bring in the best labor to install really terrible materials that are going to break down and fail over the years. So understand the value of good labor and good material. Understand that you can install a nice kitchen cabinet with really good labor, and that will be a fantastic looking kitchen versus having a custom cabinets built and have it installed by somebody that's not really skilled, the cheapest guy on the block. That cabinet won't last and it won't perform the way you want it to, and it's not going to look great the first day or 10 years from now. So that's important. So the 7 things we talked about were budget, set a good budget, plan for changes. Changes happen. Decide how many changes you're okay with. Transparency, find a builder that is willing to explain to you and spend time explaining why costs are what they are. Financing, if you're gonna finance, if you're gonna get a construction loan, understand how change orders affect. Can I take it from my loan, or am I going to take it out of pocket? A couple of common pitfalls we talked about: tile, electric. We could talk about more if you were interested. And then understand what different changes are: wants versus needs, and now or never. And lastly, understand the value of really good materials and good labor as it affects your future and how you're going to enjoy that home. So I hope that's helpful. These are 25 years of experience explaining to clients budget changes and how to anticipate them. I hope that when you do your custom home project, this will help you feel a little less anxious and have a better understanding of some of the best practices. Again, give us a like or a follow if you're interested in this topic. We'll be coming out with new videos quite a bit before the end of the year. So follow us and get all the latest. Thanks.